Hi, I'm Carl Rodrigues. I am a life balance and ascension coach. In this video, I'm going to talk about the fifth dimension. What is it and what does it mean for you? I'm going to keep this short and introductory and hopefully clear and simple. It can be quite a complex topic for the third dimensional mind that wants to analyze and understand and feel very linear about these things. It's quite a subtle topic, so I'm going to introduce some themes and ideas that hopefully will just get you thinking about this, and as time progresses I'm going to be releasing more and more video content of my own and also other people that will help you to really go on a journey in understanding this. And so one thing the fifth dimension is it's not a physical location somewhere else. Right now, in this idea of anything can be accessed in the present moment, and actually there only ever is the present moment. Right now we can access various different dimensions, and actually one of the ways to think about this in terms of how we're moving into higher dimensions is actually having an expansion of your consciousness or awareness of what's available to you in any given moment. Now, that may not mean too much, it's quite abstract. So let me just explain this in one way in terms of vibration. A lot of people are very familiar now with the idea of law of attraction and what the law of attraction states, and obviously you can go and look that up and get more familiar with it, but it states, as quantum physics does now, that everything is vibrating, everything is energy, and that energy vibrates at a particular speed. So we have high states of vibration, states of love, joy, excitement, and we have lower states of vibration such as fear. Everything really boils down to fear or love, and obviously there's various different degrees of that. So when we talk about law of attraction, what we're saying is that our thoughts are going out into the world. They have a particular vibration, whether they're of joy, of gratitude, of love, or they're of fear. And when we put those out, we're actually attracting similar circumstances to match, and similar people and situations to match that vibration that we're putting out. So the more we're in a peaceful state, in a balanced state, and in a joyous state, and an optimistic state, the more we'll manifest situations to mirror our inner state. Our inner world creates our outer world. So that's a bit about law of attraction. Now, how does that fit in with the fifth dimension? Well, as the last few decades have been progressing, particularly the last 70, we've seen a huge amount of change in the world. Mankind has evolved in terms of, we've seen an acceleration in technological innovation, in terms of even just people personal development wise. Look at the explosion of people feeling like they actually have a lot of internal inner power to make something of their lives that is not dependent on anyone else. And this is a big aspect of what's really happening on the planet right now, and why you're probably watching this video. As time has progressed, what's been happening is that the energies, these vibrational frequencies, have been rising overall on the planet, and we're all part of the planet. So we are now being encouraged to match those frequencies, and it's creating actually on a physical level, we're going through changes as well, but we're really being encouraged on an emotional level to clear those things that get in the way of us being in that high vibration. And people have now really started to understand the mechanisms of law of attraction and started to apply them in their lives. Fifth dimension is about actually the raising of those frequencies, so they're more and more increasingly available, and actually on a collective level, the more that we keep doing this work, the more we're having an impact on each other. So it becomes easier to clear the fears, it becomes easier to actually access these positive energies. And actually one of the key things about the fifth dimension, as well as we're going higher and those things are more available to us, the time delay between a thought and when we manifest that thought is shortening. And so alongside that, we've got the amplification of those thoughts. So when we're having positive thoughts, because of the cumulative effect of the energies rising, and the fact that as a species we are actually becoming more positive than negative, we're actually able to really harness that and amplify. Everything positive now has actually more of a positive impact than negative thoughts. So people are really accelerating their progress, they're accelerating their sense of their own power, and it can really start to flow into a momentum that's really unstoppable. And alongside that, what we're finding, if you are finding this internally, 2012 was a very tough year in terms of a lot of clearing was done by a lot of people, because as we're going into these rising energies, what's happening is that the lower vibrational energy comes up for clearing. We're seeing it on a global level with systems, whether they're economic or political or religious, being up for corruption is being revealed more, and that will be the lower, denser energies being brought up for clearing. Dictators have been sent packing, and there's been more and more impetus to make things more transparent and more open on a system level, but also now on an individual level. People who've been raising their consciousness are now much more in tune with being able to actually read each other and be able to really feel a desire, but also a necessity to be more open and honest, because that's becoming part of this fifth dimensional way of living. So there are various impacts or knock-on effects of being in the fifth dimension. This is all about a raised consciousness, a raised awareness. So rather than being in a thinking mode where we have to understand everything and be very energy intensive in the mind, which is really, in many ways about our ego. There's nothing wrong with our ego, but what's been happening is our ego has been kind of controlling and ruling all of our decisions and all of the way that the world has been run. And as we're going into higher levels of vibration, we're actually accessing different ways of being, and being I use with a capital B, so that we can actually be in a state of awareness. Rather than having to grasp and make things happen, we're actually able to be very focused, very in the now. That's why I talk as a coach a lot about focus and the importance of being in the moment with that clarity, because that is where we're able to actually access these higher energies, this higher state of consciousness, where actually there are available to us in any given moment states of joy, of abundance, of positive hope and possibility. Creativity comes through in the higher dimensions, and we start to really understand as we expand our consciousness that we are all interconnected. Feelings of a desire to serve become more natural because we understand that we're interconnected, we're all one, and that actually, because we've got sovereignty over ourselves and we can create anything we want through our thoughts, we start feeling like, well, why don't we create that for everybody, help everybody, because we're all interconnected, and you are me and I am you, and therefore let's just get this love thing going, and it all starts to weave itself into a state of awareness and consciousness, which is very different from third dimensional awareness and consciousness, which is about there's good and bad, there's right and wrong, there's a need for competition because there's only so much available, and I need to beat somebody else, or I need to evolve more quickly at the expense of somebody else who might not be able to keep up. Now, that's an important point, because we are going into this rising environment, but we're going in a gradual process. I think any of you watching this have already been doing some personal development work and are very familiar with the idea of personal responsibility. This is about now the opportunity to really join a party where we can access these higher levels of amplification and really get things happening for us and get the flow and synchronicity happening. Our imagination and intention are key tools within that. But don't feel like you need to suddenly go into a panic state about, will I be able to keep up with this? Because this is if you imagine the higher states of vibration are loving energies, this shift is happening in a loving way. The earth is moving and has already moved into the fifth dimension, but we are given the opportunity now in our own process to get there with her. And you're seeing now on the planet there are more and more people who are finding it very easy to create the life they want, and people with that raised level of awareness and consciousness are now encouraging others, showing the way to help us all shift from that scarcity, struggle-based, duality-based arena of pain, really. Third dimension has been about learning through pain. We don't need to learn through pain when we start moving on into these higher energies. We learn because we know it's in our interest, but we're really in a balanced and comfortable place because we're trusting. And really what we're moving into is moving from a place of hope to a place of knowingness. And that place of knowingness and trust in the universe to co-create with us comes from practice. So I wanted this to be fairly brief. I've already talked quite a bit. Once I get started on this subject, I can talk for a long time. So please invite me to talk about it if you have any speaker opportunities, because that's really what I'm here to do now. But I'm going to expand on these themes in time, but hopefully that gives you a sense of where we're going with this fifth dimension. It's available to you right now. Think about it like Woodstock. Woodstock was a fifth dimensional experience. People came there. It was about love, it was about sharing, it was about connection, it was about joy. And so these things are happening. London, for example, where I live, there's a bursting forth of these energies and a sense of possibility in people. So that's really what I want to give you through this video, is thinking, okay, there's something in this. Have a look at my blog to get more background information. Obviously, from a coaching point of view, I'm all about trying to get you to get clear about what that vision is that would actually give you that joy, because once you start getting clarity over that, then all the other things line up with this sense of what you need to clear. All right, Carl Rodrigues, Life Balance and Ascension Coach. You can check me out on peacethroughaction.com, and I'll see you again soon. All the best to your increasing joy.